What's up, guys? You know who it is, Midwest 2 Review here back again. So I thought, trying to figure out what the next video or subject was going to be. And you know what? It's going to be about toolboxes. I think this Husky is the best toolbox you can buy for the money. The best toolbox you can buy for the money. All right, so let's not waste any time. All right, this is a Husky 60-inch by 24-inch deep box. It is a 9-jar. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 jar. 10 jar plus a side cabinet, a built-in side cabinet jar. All right. So 60 by 24 inches, which is the overall measurements for the box. The actual working area, which I consider the primary jar as being the main component of any toolbox, meaning that the primary jar or the top drawer is what pretty much defines, what the true working area is. And so for this one here, what you actually have access to is 19 3/4. And if you go to the very back of the jar, the actual jar is 22 or 21 3/4. The length of the jar, the actual length, and I'm gonna put that on the inside, is actually 55 1/4, almost 55 1/2. And that's for the primary jar. The drawers are rated at 100 pounds. This one here is a 100-pound rated jar. We know that there's much more than 100 pounds in that jar. And they are a single slide configuration. And there is the type of slide called a king slide. Looks like it is made in Taiwan. Yeah, it looks like Taiwan. But there's a single slide, which is why it is a 100-pound rating versus the 200-pound. And I don't think they would have the surface area there to support anything greater than a single slide. All right. It does feature the soft close. Let me go back, and I'm going to tell you the pros of this box, and I'm going to tell you the cons based upon 2.5 years of use. Okay. So like I said, it has a soft close feature, and let's see here. And it pulls itself in, right? So that's kind of neat. Your tools don't get slammed around, but most professional grade boxes, they don't even have that, and their system seems to work fine. I think that soft close feature is more prominent on your lower end boxes or your non-professional type boxes. But all of the additional jars, if we measure those out, let me get my tape measure here set up, and then we'll check those out. So the actual working depth is 20 1/2 or 20 1/4, and then the working length is 25 3/4. And then they have a depth of probably, let's see here, a depth of 1.5 inches. And that's that's on top of the padding. So deduct the thickness of the padding, and you're 1.5. And that's just the first jar. And then, let's see here, pull the next one out. It's going to be the same basic dimensions as the first one here. The third jar is going to be a little bit deeper, same length, but a little bit deeper. So that one becomes approximately, what is that? 1 3/4 depth. So 1.75, and then so on. It goes down to probably 2, and then this one here is probably going to be 5 or 6. Let's see here. Probably can get that. I don't have a whole lot of room, but roughly 5 1/2, 5 3/4 depth, maybe 6 inches total. And then the same thing, obviously the lengths on these side drawers are going to be a little bit different, but the depths are going to be roughly 2 inches, 3 inches, and so on and so forth. All right. I'm not going to measure every one, but what I can tell you after working out of this box, you know, for the last 2.5 years, now, if I take the master drawer and I try to close it, it will go in and not a whole lot of drawer is hanging out. And I didn't push it with all my might, but just a general, like you get something out, you close it, you move it on to your work. So the soft close feature, when you have, you know, let's call this twice the rating of the weight, it doesn't work anymore. That soft close feature failed, but it's not because the box itself is faulty. It's rather I've exceeded the rated capacity for this drawer. One other thing is like looking at how it, let's see here, that will, you know, the parallelness of it, if you will, or the angle of the drawer. There hasn't been too much slanting. There is a slight bit of taper, if you will, due to the weight. And I've tried to position the tools in the drawer in such a way that keeps the weight towards the back versus at the front. Although I do have a significant amount of breaker bars up front. Maybe I could move this stuff to here and that to back. I don't know, but how it sits right now is how it's going to sit. But so that's that as far as the closing feature of it. It doesn't have a, you know, little gripper or anything like that, like your Harbor Freight and some of your professional grade boxes. I will tell you, when you pull it, you can pull it out and there's no cocking or, I almost said twerking, but that's not what I meant, but no cocking of the drawer. You know, like, you know, some of them you pull them and they're like, you know, teeter-tottering back and forth. This one here doesn't do this. Is pretty solid. And I'll show you guys with my other hand. And that's not bad for a non-professional grade box. And you can pull it from, obviously the center will be the best way, but you can literally pull it from the very end and watch the drawer. It comes out evenly, right? If I push it in, it goes in evenly. So pull it out, comes out evenly. And that's a sign of a well-made box, right? Because what most boxes, even Harbor Freight, you pull on one end, it wants to be biased towards the end is applying the pulling force. So if I pull that in, that end's gonna pull first, followed by that side. Pull in the center is equal throughout the entire length of the drawer. But most boxes you pull biased to one direction, it typically will reflect that, and meaning that the drawer is going to cock or twist in accordance with that. Not this Husky. And I think part of that too, I'll be honest with you, is the weight. So like a lighter drawer, if I do that, well, these are fairly good too. They don't have a whole lot of weight. So I guess maybe my theory would be that the more stuff that's in the drawer, the more, depending on how it's loaded, it may have an impact on whether or not that theory will remain true. Maybe more weight may kind of counteract that twisting motion, but I don't know. You guys tell me. Maybe I should know because I'm an engineer, but I don't know. Some of the things I don't like about the box is the overall height, meaning from the floor to the top of the box. And we're gonna measure that. And I'm not wearing any socks today, guys, because it is hot in Indiana. So I'm out in my garage space. Let's see here. So the overall height of my box is 38 1/4. And the overall depth, like I said, is 24. That's my kids. Fix that back. And then the overall length is 5 feet. So I don't like the height of it. I wish it was more in line with your professional grade boxes where the height was, I don't know, what did we say that was? 35 or whatever it was. 38 and a quarter. I wish it was more like 41, 42, something like that, especially for my height. I wish it was a little bit taller, but it isn't. It's not going to be a major problem, but if you put it side by side with even the Harbor Freight, is still lower. It does feature the 6-wheel system where it has the center wheel there to support the overall weight of the box, because you figure if these 5 drawers or whatever are heavily loaded, that would create a potentially weak point or stress strain point in the centermost portion of the box. So they did a good job at putting these fairly robust tires on there, or wheels. And these things are a hard rubberized plastic, but the mechanisms are pretty robust, and I can't say anything about the box bad about that. It is very easy to maneuver. I think the box weighs in at like over 500 pounds dry. And then with all the stuff that I've gotten in it, I would assume it's about 1,000 pounds. And if I wanted to, or like when I power wash my area here, I can move that box out with no issue. I mean, it pulls right on out and there's no problem. So that's not an issue. I do wish that it was deeper. I wish the jars, when you open them up and you put your hand back there, there's roughly, let's see here, let's see what we can find out. Sorry about that. It's roughly, what is that, 1.5, 1 3/4 of space that you lose out on. So that's a problem when you have sockets like this. You can't get to them, so you have to angle them and pull them out. That's a problem, and it makes no sense where they can't make it full depth. And my thought is probably because if you only have a single slide, the further out you pull, the more stress you put on that remaining portion that's engaged with the slide here and there. So there's probably a ratio that says for every, depending on how far out you are, you have to maintain a certain percentage of the overall track length in conjunction with this piece here. So the male to female end, there has to be so much overlap there in order to support the weight. And that, obviously if you have dual slides, then you can have further extension of the jar, because you distribute that load over across 2 slides, or actually 4 slides versus only 2 slides. So more than likely that's probably what that is. But other than that, the box is really good. It is nice and heavy gauge metal. I don't know the actual thickness because I don't have a caliper, but it is fairly thick metal. It's not, it doesn't flex. It's not like your traditional Craftsman style boxes where it looks really thin. These are fairly thick and robust, so I do like that. The flat black that I got this one in is fairly easy to clean, no complaints on that. The paint doesn't chip. The wood top works out really well. I've taken fairly good care of it. It doesn't look too bad. I do have some nicks and dings and dents there, and you can remove it if you wanted to. You can take it off, replace it with something else, flip it over, mount a vise or something to it. Whatever you wanted to do, you could easily do that. And this box out the door was $648 with taxes, and I live in Indiana, and there's a 7% sales tax on all items, so $7 for every $100 spent. So that, 7 times 7 is 49, so you're actually at 42, so an extra $40 some on top of the price. So you got $648 out the door. Let me see here, what else can I tell you real quick? We're at 14 minutes. The side cabinet here is fairly decent. It does have a little cubby for cans. It is fairly deep. And let's see if we can get a depth on that for you. The overall depth of is 2 feet, so it does go all the way back. And the overall height is roughly, let's call it 21 and a half, because there is some room up in here before you contact the bottom of that drawer. But there's no light, so if you wanted a light, you have to put like a Harbor Freight light or something in there. The drawer is fairly decent, nice and sturdy, no issues with that. The key, here's the keys. Features one of these typical, I don't know what kind of security type keys, but I'll let you guys hear the mechanism locking. So nice positive lock, and when it's locked, you can't pull them open. Oh, that one, oh, that's separate lock, I'm sorry. It's the same key for all the locks. So, okay. So let me see here. One thing that people talked about, if it is locked and some of these are open, let's see what happens. You can't lock it. So if the drawer is open, any of the drawers are open, it will not let you, let's make sure, no, you can't lock it. So you have to have all the drawers closed if you're gonna lock it up. But the side cabinet, not bad. I mean, if somebody wanted to get in the box, they could get in the box. You're not gonna prevent them from doing that. But for the most part, nice positive lock, no complaints there. So for $648, and I hope I covered everything. If I didn't, leave a comment and I'll make a follow-up video, or I'll respond to your comment. But for $648, you guys saw what I got. Some people go out and spend, you know, 5-6 grand on a professional grade box and only have a couple grand in tools, or if even that much. I've got, you know, a couple thousand, maybe more in tools, you know, high quality Snap-on stuff and Mac stuff, and etc. And I everything that I pretty much got, I found it secondhand. But then again, I'm not a mechanic, so I have a little bit more time and freedom to do that. But I mean, I would estimate everything that I got in this box, including the cost of the box, I don't know, maybe $2,500, you know, something where around there, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less. But that's probably the value of everything. But $648, you can't go wrong with this box. I mean, I think it's an excellent box for the price. It's lasted for the last 2.5 years, no major issues whatsoever. It has a 3-year warranty on it from the factory. They'll come out or send someone out to fix it or repair it, but I've not even had to think about doing that. I do wish it was deeper. I do wish it was taller, and I know Husky does make a 72-inch long one, which is, if I do get rid of this guy, which I'm thinking about that, it will be going to the 72-inch one, which I believe does have a little bit more height on it, and maybe a little bit more depth, but it is 72 inches long, and I really do wish I had that. I would have given up this side locker if I could have had another set of drawers like that over there, because I could have taken my ratchets and made a ratchet drawer. But I'm cool with it how it is. I mean, I like it. It had that sliding thing in the back for like a pegboard crap, but I took that off and actually sold it. So I made some money back on that. But yeah, and it's got a pull handle, just in case somebody wanted to know. It does have a power outlet. It does have that USB ports, you know, the power outlet. So it has all that, even though I don't use it, it has it. But yeah, so there's the box. Husky 60 by 24 inch box, 548 pounds, 10 drawers, 100-pound rating. The bottom drawers are 200-pound ratings. They do have dual slides. Forgot to mention that. And with all of the weight that's in here, with the dual slides, you can see it's the soft close feature still works. And I think that's the same for this jar as well. There you go. So it still works. Only the big jar up front that only has a single slide, this well exceeding the weight capacity of 100 pounds, has issues with closing. And I'll show you guys that one more time before I end this video. And you see it stops short. You have to push it in. So Husky did a great job with these boxes. I would advise any DIY, just certainly DIY, all day long, every day, all day long, DIY box, biggest bang for your buck, in my opinion, for $648. Mechanic wise, if you're a mechanic, and I'm going to take the next minute on this, so I apologize, it's a long video. If you are a professional mechanic, okay, and you have enough tools to get you through most jobs, and you say, I want to get a professional grade box, first thing is first, go to Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, pawn shops, whatever, auctions, estate auctions. Try to find a Snap-on or a Mac or whatever box for the cheap. In my area, I can go out right now, take $1,000 and go out and find a KRA box, a Snap-on KRA, KRL, or whatever the hell it is. Not an issue whatsoever. So I've thought about actually selling this box and buying a Snap-on, but it would cost me, essentially double what I paid for this. And I'm not quite sold on that yet. But I would say exhaust secondhand resources first before you buy brand new. You know your own financial situation. So if you can afford to have the $3, $4, $5, $8, $10,000 box and make that weekly payment to Snap-on or Mac or whatever, or Matco, do that, and that's on you. But if you're saying, hey, I don't want to do that, but I just want a really good box that can get me through the first 2-3 years of my career, and then I'll upgrade once I have the money, the time, the experience, and the need for a bigger box. Then I'll upgrade to a professional series box. If that's you, the Husky 60 by 24 inch box or the Husky 72 inch box by 24 inch box is a great deal. I say the Harbor Freight, I'm still not sold on the Harbor Freight yet, but I am sold on the Husky. So that's my 2 cents worth. This is, in my opinion, this is the best box for the money. Coming in at $648, which includes taxes here in the Midwest region at 7% sales tax. Hope you guys like this video. Leave me a comment. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. We're at 1,200 subscribers at the moment, trying to get to 15, trying to get to 2,000 and on. Just trying to put out videos that people like from a DIY perspective, helping you guys, achieve greatness. So, all right, guys, have a good night. Peace.